My name is Carroll, the founder of Your Glow Up, a 7-figure performance creative and growth marketing agency. And in this video, I'm going to be walking you through the exact system that we use to pump out over 1,000 ad creatives every single month. So as you can see on screen, this is our full workflow from a new brand being onboarded to us to actually getting the final ads launched and then using that data from those ads to feed back into the next creative round. So I'll be walking you through this system step by step, and at the end of this, you'll have a clear plan in place and a clear process in terms of how you can actually improve your internal systems, take a few ideas, maybe what hires you need to make to improve your internal creative systems, and overall just have a lot more clarity on how to structure your internal creative processes to pump out a higher quantity and quality of ad creative to help you scale your campaigns. So let's dive right in. So as you can see, this is our overall performance creative workflow, and it's color-coded by role. And this is a continuous feedback loop. So basically, as soon as a brand gets onboarded with us, this gets flowed all the way through to the ads being launched. We then use that data to feed back into the next round, and this allows the ads to get better and better and better, and for the next round of content or the next round of deliveries of ads to always be data-driven and always be improving. So first off, let's start with the legend. So this is obviously color-coded by role. So the green are our performance editors, blue is for our growth marketing manager, red is for our performance creative manager, white with a red outline is for our talent specialist, and then gold is ads launch. Now, we do operate on a pod system, so each pod, it's almost like structured autonomy, where each pod can act independently of each other. So this is the performance creative workflow for an independent pod, if you get me. So each of our pods has one of these hires in it and one of these people in it. So yeah, each person has a specific role that they need to carry out for each new brand that comes on board and for the current brands that we're actually servicing to be able to predictably, pump out new winning ads to help scale the account. So let's dive right in. So first things first is the onboarding call. So obviously this is the first thing that we need to do for any new brand that comes on board. Now, if you already have a D2C brand, you can obviously, ignore the onboarding part and just go straight into it. But this is obviously a crucial part for our process to understand fully, what the brand has done, do a deep dive on the ad account, look at their customer reviews, etc., and help us understand where the biggest upside is in the account and where we want to actually start for a creative strategy. So once that onboarding call is completed, we actually have our internal strategy session. So this is where everyone on our team meets internally after the onboarding call, after we have all that data. And this allows us, to decide on what angles we want to focus on first and which is the biggest upside. So what types of creatives we want to use, whether it's static, GIF, direct response UGC, etc. What creators will be a good fit. So, if it's a skincare brand aimed at elderly women, like let's say we're going to use the creators kind of in the 30 to 50-year-old range, let's say, who are like quite aspirational. So helping to get all those key elements decided on right from the off, and that will just, help the whole process run so much smoother from that point to make sure everyone on the team is aligned, okay? So a really big part of what we do as well is, like, we want to get really quick wins off the bat, because when people work with us, they want to work with us to get better performance. Now, generally, we work with brands that are spending over 100K per month on paid social, so they have some bit of ad creative there, they have some bit of data there, and when someone new works with us, we want to get some really quick wins off the bat. So what we do is we repurpose any assets that they currently have right off the bat to get some quick wins, to get some new quick winning assets while we're developing our net new content that will, be able to use to scale the account further. So as soon as we have our internal YG strategy session, our growth marketing manager, independent of whether we're actually running their ads or not, does an audit of their ad account to see if there's any upside in the account. So have a look at the campaign structure, the tracking, have a look at the conversion rate, etc., etc. Have a look to see all that is actually in line and it's all firing as it should be. And if not, we can provide some value there. For some clients, we actually run the ads. For others, we just produce the creative. But regardless, we perform that ad account audit to try to provide as much value as possible. So then the performance creative manager, he reviews all of the current assets that the brand has, as well as any ads that are showing promise, let's say, in their actual ad account, goes ahead, reviews all those assets, makes quick iterations. So this could be various mashups with all the content that we have. It could be hook or intro variations based off winning ads that the brand already has, gets those quick iterations made, and then he passes that on to our performance editors. So then the performance editors execute those quick variations, which are based off what the current assets that the client has, and then gets those launched. So that's right off the bat, data-driven iterations based off what we're seeing in the ad account of that specific brand, but then also what we're seeing working in our other client accounts and in other big spenders, that we can leverage those creative insights, make really quick assets that will, 9 times out of 10 produce a performer right off the bat. And it's just a great way for us to start a relationship with a new brand to get new creative winners right off the bat. Okay. So after that strategy session, our performance creative manager goes ahead and starts into the creative strategy. So what we do internally is we actually build out an AI creative strategist or an AI bot. Now, this is an app that we use. It's a plugin built on ChatGPT. But what this allows us to do is build an AI creative strategist. Now, this allows us, basically gives us leverage with ideation, with script writing, etc. It doesn't produce new concepts, but this just gives us so much more leverage to mine through customer reviews, to help with ideation. And the benefit of this is that we feed this AI creative strategist bot all the information from the brand's onboarding. So all the onboarding form information, any customer reviews, etc. So it's not just like your normal ChatGPT, plugin or something you can chat with. This is trained in direct response firstly. So, we give it prompts to train in direct response. Then we also feed it brand specific information. So that bot is there, it's saved. And then when we're also like doing the next round's ideation or the next round's concepts, then we can go back, use that bot. We don't have to retrain it. And then that information is always there and always readily available. So this bot is trained in direct response and then also in that, brand specific voice, and it understands and has mined through thousands of the brand's customer reviews. So after that, our performance creative manager does a deep dive into the fundamental research and reviews past performance. So there's a deep dive into the ad account, does competitor research, looks at Reddit forums, etc., looks at Google searches, basically gets like an overall sentiment of what people are saying about the brand in terms of the customer reviews. Then also looks at competitors, so see what ads competitors are running to get some inspiration there. And also reviews past performance as well, because we want to look at like data as well. It's not just, doing a Google search or whatever like that. Like we want to see what the brand has tested in the past, what it shows promise, and what hasn't worked. So after that, our performance creative manager requests end cards, which is basically just a snippet on the end of video ads that, can help increase click-through rate. You can just use that part right at the end of the video to quash any remaining objections that the viewer has. Then also static. So statics are a lot lower lift to actually produce than video ads. So once this fundamental research is conducted, we have a template of ads that have been top performers for our previous clients, and the performance creative manager just goes ahead, requests those off for graphic designers, and they can go ahead and get made. Okay, so once all this is completed, once the fundamental research is completed and the past performance is reviewed, our talent specialist, the performance creative manager then gives our talent specialist guidance on what creators we want to use. Okay, so basically, like depending on what's working for competitors and what they found from the fundamental research, gives the talent specialist guidance on what creators we want to use. So they then develop the concept generation tab, so it comes up with the exact concepts that we want to use and the hypothesis behind it, why it should work, etc., and send this to our clients for approval. So they then write the concept briefs, so in terms of what the script should be, what the visual should be, etc., just end to end, what the script should look like in terms of taking the idea from the performance creative manager's head and then giving it to creator for them to be able to actually execute the briefs. So once the concept briefs are written, we send them to the client for approval. If they're not approved or any changes need to be made, we make those iterations and get them approved. And then if they're approved right off the bat, our performance creative manager pings the talent specialist, lets them know, and then our talent specialist sends the briefs to the creators. Okay, so as all this is going on with the performance creative manager, who drives the strategy and the overall creative strategy for the brand, right after our internal strategy call, our talent specialist sends brand alignment doc and a creator criteria and strategy doc to clients. So this basically allows us to fully get aligned with their brand, the brand mission, the brand tone of voice, let's say, how to pronounce the brand name, etc., which is a really underrated element when you are working with a few brands, to be able to pass on that information to creators to be able to pronounce the name of the brand correctly, let's say. And then obviously the creator criteria. So, what criteria brands will be looking for, or this specific brand will be looking for in a creator. So, some brands want creators with tattoos, other creators don't. Some creators want, or some brands, are targeted towards, let's say, like African-American girls. Others are targeted towards, 50-plus-year-old men, let's say. So, yeah, it's just like what specific creators that brand is looking for when producing content with us. So we then go ahead and create all the necessary Google Drive folders and all the necessary folders that will be needed in terms of like managing all the content. The town specialist will then source creators from our database, confirm availability with them, because obviously that's extremely important. We don't want to ship products to someone and only to find out that they're not available or they're away on holidays or something like that. Add them to the creator selection Notion page. We then send that over to our client. So it is basically just a good like database. So we add all the creators who we feel would be a good fit for our brand, and they can just cherry pick their favorites from that list and go from there. So after that, then, if the brand approves it, they can go ahead and we'll prepare the shipping documents with the creators' addresses. And if not, then we go ahead and source more creators from our database, send them over to their brand just to make sure we allow them to get their perfect creators and make sure they're 100% happy. So then the shipping document is prepared. It's also sent to the client to ship the products. And then after that, the briefs are sent to creators. So then at this point, the creator has the product. So it has the product that's been delivered, and then they also have the briefs. So after this, we then ensure all the content is filmed and uploaded to our internal YGU standards. So we ensure it's all the content is filmed up. If not, we follow up with creators and make sure that every single clip that we need is actually there and present and filmed and is up to our standards. That has been requested from the performance creative manager in the briefs. Then what we do is we ensure all content is uploaded and quality checked. If it's internally improved, we can go ahead with the rest of the process. But if not, we ask for reshoots because, we do have extremely high standards for our content. Like, this isn't just going on organic profiles, or it's not just there to look nice. This has to perform in the ad account. So it's really important to have like a very high standard for every single bit of content and piece of creative that gets produced. So if it doesn't meet our internal standards, we ask for reshoots. We ensure all the content is uploaded and quality checked. And then lo and behold, it will be approved after that if we do have to ask for any reshoots. So at this point then, we'll have all the raw content and all that will be approved. So then we send the raw content to clients for them to have on their side, update our internal content dashboard. So that's where we keep all assets, neatly tidied, and so we can track like which assets have been launched, etc., etc. And then we upload all the content to Playbook. So this is just an internal software that we use that allows us to tag each clip, keep everything organized. So it just makes life a lot easier when we are iterating on other concepts, when we're creating mashup iterations, so using footage from different creators, etc., etc. Just gives us a lot more flexibility and allows us to stay a lot more organized when we are dealing with a high volume of content. So once all this content is internally improved, our talent specialist sets these concepts as ready to edit. So that basically lets our editors know that these concepts are ready to edit and ready to be executed. Okay, so once that is sent over, or once that's moved to ready to edit, then our performance editors come in. So then they edit the core ads. So these are the core concepts that were requested by the performance creative manager, sends them over internally for team approval. We then review the team feedback, give it back to, if they're not approved or if we have certain comments, that's fed back. The editors make the iterations, then it's passed through again. Then after that, they'll be approved once those comments are addressed. After that, we send the core ads to the clients. So we send those core ads to our clients to make sure it's all approved, to make sure they're fully happy with it, that we're completely aligned in terms of like they're happy with the assets going live, and because internally or on our side, we understand we're never going to understand their brand as well as they are. We obviously have the onboarding process to try to get up to speed as possible, but it would be stupid to think that an agency or someone else coming in externally will be able to ever understand their brand better than they would. So we always send over these core ads to the brand to be able to approve them and make sure they're 100% happy with it. And if the client has one or two comments or asks for one or two amendments, then we go back. The editors make those changes, go back, and then the client will approve them. So after that, we have all the core ads approved by our internal team, and then obviously the clients as well. And then after that, we edit all our variations. So we have an SOP that we go ahead and make all the variations from. So this could be hook changes, this could be mashups, this could be different length changes, different CTA, etc., etc. Basically, all the things that we specifically want to test for this brand. Now, what these variations entail of is generally, influenced by what we're seeing in the ad account, what we're seeing competitors doing, what we're seeing working at our other accounts to say. There's no like one size fits all for these variations. Many of them are hook and intro variations because that is what has the biggest impact on the actual ads performance. But this does vary, brand by brand, account by account. So then we make all those variations. We send it over for internal team approval. If any comments are made, we can apply those changes and then make those changes, have the finished assets. Once they're approved, then we upload it to Google Drive, which is where we store all the finished assets on our side, and upload it to the content dashboard so it's easily accessible for everyone on our team and the clients as well. And then we obviously send the clients to show them the final assets. So then after this, we have all the final assets ready in terms of variations, and then the ads gets launched. Now, one thing about this is that when the ads are actually launched, that's only around 30% of the process. After that, it's living in the ad account, seeing how the ads perform, looking at the harder metrics or softer metrics, see what ads show potential, and then iterating off that. Because a lot of creative strategy and, performance creatives is about using data. It's not just pulling a creative idea out of nowhere, thinking something just looks nice, putting it in the ad account, and then just not looking at it for another 3 or 4 weeks. It's all about looking at the data and making incremental changes and allowing the assets to get incrementally better. So once these ads are launched, our performance creative manager then goes ahead and analyzes the tested ad concepts to see what are winning, see what is losing, see what's showing potential, and see what key learnings we can take. So is it a certain type of hook that is working? Is it a certain type of creator ad framework that is working, or a certain type of ad format? So as I said, GIFs, UGCs, statics, etc. See which one of those so we can extract key learnings. So then we create iteration briefs off these winning ad concepts. So we want to be as agile as possible. So when we see something that shows promise or is performing well, we want to iterate on that to try and improve it and try extract as much value as we can out of it. So once these ad concepts are analyzed, Performance Creative Manager will create iteration briefs off these. So as I said, this could be like a mashup, changing hooks, changing the video length, recreating a similar brief with a different creator, let's say. All the iterations that we can do for once we find that winning ad, we want to extract it and scale it as much as possible. So this is just shows how agile it is. Like, we need to act in it right away. So once a winning ad is identified, we create these iteration briefs, move that task to ready to edit, and then the editors can start working on it right away. And then concurrently with this, as this is going on, the Performance Creative Manager reports all creative learnings to the client side and also to our internal team, as it's really important that everyone is consolidated on learnings. Because what I like to say is you can learn just as much from the losers as you can from the winners. So if we have any winning ad concepts, we want to take those learnings and apply to all further rounds. But on a similar note, we also want to take as many learnings from the actual losers as we can from the winners. Because if something is losing, or let's say we launched an asset and it didn't perform or didn't hit KPIs, we want to take the time to understand why that didn't perform, why it didn't scale, and obviously not do it any more down the line. And obviously, standard hit rates for creative are anywhere between 15 to 20%. Most ads fail. So there's a lot of learnings that you can take from all those losing ads. So you want to double down on what's working and then obviously stop doing whatever's not working. So once these creative learnings are reported to the client and internal team, this then feeds back into the next round strategy. So this is where we conduct the funnel research, review the past performance, and then that feeds into round 2. And after that, it just is that continuous feedback loop where we are going round by round. So we obviously, the onboarding call straight into round 1, the assets are made, we create iteration briefs, we extract key learnings, and this influences round 2 and round 3 and round 4. And as you can see, this is just a continuous feedback loop where we're coming up with a hypothesis, testing that hypothesis, and then using those learnings to inform the next round to make sure the creatives are getting better and better. So as you can see, there's a lot of moving parts to this, from all the way to iterating on client current assets, to everything to do with creators, to everything to do with strategy and, writing the briefs, to getting all the content fully uploaded and improved, everything to do with the editing review process, and then how we launch those ads, and then how we take those key learnings to inform the next round, so those assets are getting better and better and better. So that's basically it then. So it's quite extensive. This whole process from round 1 from onboarding, let's say, to the ads getting launched, roughly takes around 25 days. So we aim to get, let's say, this is just for our timelines internally. When a new brand comes on board, we get the first round of ads back to them in live within 14 days. But in terms of our core assets, we generally get those back within 25 days. So that's the onboarding call all the way to the launch ads is roughly around 25 days. And then obviously the continuous iteration loop starts. And after that, we give weekly deliverables to be able to keep the momentum up in the account, let's say. So yeah, that's basically it. So a little background on me. I have a master's degree in chemical engineering. So yeah, I like going deep into the systems and processes side of things. But yeah, hopefully that should give you a good idea on what a efficient and effective performance creative workflow should look like. So everything in terms of every single step that's involved, what each core team member does, and what team members are actually required. Now, this is obviously for an agency side where we're an external partner, let's say, working for the brand. So we obviously need the onboarding, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you're a D2C brand who needs to execute this for yourself, you obviously just make slight adjustments, but the core elements still remain the same in terms of iterating on whatever assets are currently there to make the most of them, the creative strategy, everything to do with creators and getting the content, all the editing process, and then the continuous feedback loop. So everything is getting better and better and better over time. So yeah, I know this is quite extensive. There's a lot of moving parts of this. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions and questions about specific parts and how all this works together. So if you have any questions about it, make sure to let me know. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn or you can leave a comment down below and I'll be more than happy to help. But yeah, other than that, I hope this was very helpful. I hope you took a lot of value from it. And most importantly, I hope this helps you improve your performance creative workflow and your creative systems so you'll be able to produce a lot more ads and a lot more winning ads in a fraction of the time. So thank you very much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.